project, I used a 12 by 12 inch frame that I had picked up at a garage sale. I used a razor to take the paper off of the back, and then I used a jewelry tool to remove all the staples around the edge. I took the glass out, I cleaned the glass up, and then I took Elmer's glue and put it around the perimeter of the back of the frame where the glass would sit. Then I replaced the glass, and I took Elmer's glue one more time and went around the perimeter. This serves two purposes. It helps to hold the glass in place, and it helps to prevent resin leaks when you put resin on the other side. It needs to dry overnight and sometimes up to 24 hours depending on how much glue you use. The next day, when the glue had dried, I took painter's tape and put it around the perimeter of the back of the frame. This also helps to prevent resin leaks. Next, I took Celestial glass, spread it out on a piece of paper, and took TAMIYA spray paint and sprayed it black. This is not translucent. Some more Celestial fire glass, spread it out on the paper, and took TAMIYA metallic orange spray paint and sprayed the glass. This is not advertised as translucent, but it is as long as you don't spray too much. Then on my Cricut program, I found this real cute pumpkin candy bucket that I copied and pasted into another program and printed out. I cut it out, put it on the back of the glass, and taped it down. Then I took clear Elmer's glue and followed around all the lines of the pumpkin. And I took a 2mm rhinestone chain and put it right on top of the clear Elmer's glue. It's really important that you use clear Elmer's glue because once it's dried and you pour resin over it, you will not see it. If you were to use the regular Elmer's school glue like I used to glue the glass into the frame, you would see that under the resin. So I continued on to do the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and followed that up with the 2mm rhinestone chains. It's really important that you let the glue under the rhinestone chains dry completely before you put glass on it because they will shift around. And it's also really important that you let the glue dry before you put resin on it, because if it is not dry, it won't dry underneath the resin. And then next I took Elmer's glue and put it along the handle, and this time I took a 4mm rhinestone chain, 2 rows of them to make up the handle. Then I took the paper off the back, that way you can see the rhinestone chains better. Next I put clear Elmer's glue down on the pumpkin, and I just started putting the pieces in there one by one, kind of fitting them together like a puzzle, and it's really not as difficult as it sounds. And again, the most important thing is if you are going to put Elmer's glue down, it has to be clear Elmer's glue, and it needs to be totally dry before you pour the resin on. And it is not necessary to use the glue. I just always worry that I'm going to be carrying it somewhere and bump into something and everything's going to fall out. But anyway, once I was done with that, I needed to add the black for the eyes and the mouth, and I started using the black fire glass that I had spray painted black, and I decided I didn't like the way it looked, and instead I used this Ashland decorative filler that I had bought several years ago at Michael's around Halloween time, and I just went ahead and filled in the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. Next I printed up the letters or the words trick or treat on my Cricut machine and put that on the top of the project. And don't worry if you do not have a Cricut machine, if you can find a stencil with it, you can use that. I always had used stencils before I got the Cricut machine, and I used a Sharpie oil-based marker and traced inside of the stencil instead of using paint because I had a terrible time with paint, but it works really well, the oil-based Sharpies. Also, a lot of times up at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or Dollar Tree, they have words already printed, like on metal or on wood, that you can spray paint and put on your projects also. So I had all sorts of candy that I was trying on the pumpkin, and even though it looks like I know what I'm doing, by putting these candies on. Before this, I had tried all different candies and took them off and put other ones on and took them off. And I finally decided on using these little miniatures, the Twizzlers and Snickers. You can get these on TEMU and you can get them on Amazon, I believe. The little M&M'S I got from TEMU, the candy corns I got from JOANN Fabrics, and the suckers, which I didn't end up using. I ended up taking that one off. I actually got from Hobby Lobby. So, and in a minute I take the, like I said, I take the sucker off. So now it's ready for the resin. And the resin I'm going to use for this project is called Resiners resin. So I've never used this product before and I'm going to be testing it. And I was also sent the resin mixer, and it's dual headed. They have they give you two of the long ones and two of the short ones, and I just happen to have the two long ones on there now. And I'm actually going to pour the resin in one cup and the hardener in the other cup, because I have found out that these cups that I got on Amazon are mismeasured because they're printed on there. It was printed up too high, so the first ounce is actually more than an ounce. So what I do is I pour an ounce of resin in one and an ounce of hardener in the other, and that way I know they're equal amounts, and even though they're more than an ounce, and I put one into the other. And you can see the spouts on these that you insert after you open it, and they're really nice because they help prevent leaking. You know how a lot of times when you lift your bottle back up it drips down the side? Well, this helps to prevent that. So it's a real nice spout that they have on there. Actually put 2 ounces in each, and in one I put just a dot more, and that's the one that I pour from one cup into the other, because I know a tiny bit's going to be left inside of the one cup. And then once I have the two incorporated, I stir the bottom and then a little bit on the sides just to make sure before I stick it under the Resiners mixer. And this is so cool because it just lowers down into it, and it actually has speeds. And I have used other mixers before. I have this sped way up. This is going way faster than the machine really goes. And it really goes at a nice slow pace. Let me show you how slow it really is. Okay, this right here is real time. This is how slow you can have it go if you want. And of course you can turn it up faster. But this is a nice speed so that it doesn't create a whole bunch of bubbles. And I actually had another mixing machine that I don't think I used in a video because it went so fast and created so many bubbles. So this is really a nice one. And here you can see it doesn't really touch the bottom, but you can kind of manipulate your cup a little bit to make sure it gets the sides, and hold it up a little bit so that it gets the bottom. Now I have it sped up again at this point. If you wanted, you could actually have both going at the same time. You could be mixing 2 cups. And then the nice thing about this is when it's all done, all you do is lift it up, and the little stirrers actually drip down into the cup, and you can slip another cup under it to catch the drips. And then here I'm just making sure that the sides and the bottom are all incorporated in it, because you don't want to leave any swirlies in there. And I think I did catch a couple, but it really saves you about 3 minutes of standing there mixing it. It really worked well. I really do like it. So this Resiners resin is really nice. It's a very, very thin resin. It's actually the thinnest resin I've ever worked with, and it really has very few bubbles in it. Of course, all resins have some bubbles after you mix it, but they're real easy to get out with the kitchen torch. So this resin actually is considered a fast cure resin. You can demold it in 8 hours. It's really considered a resin for molds, and I'm using it on glass because it's held in a reservoir, and as long as you have it held in a reservoir and put it thick enough on there, it will not cause fish eyes. Now I know some of the people in our Facebook group have used it for canvas, and I have tried it on canvas. It's not advertised as a coating resin, but some think it works really good, and I'll show you the canvas that I put it on at the end, and you guys can decide for yourself. But anyway, I put it over the candy in the glass first, and then up and around the perimeter. I push it into the corner and along the edges with my spoon. I know they say resin is self-leveling, but it's in your best interest to push it around because you do not want any empty areas. So I said that 8 hours you can usually touch it. A full cure is in 24 hours. It's best cured at temperatures between 77 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. It needs to sit on a flat level surface. It's in your best interest to cover it with a dust cover when you're done. I use a kitchen torch to get rid of any bubbles that there might be. I'm done with the project. I always come back every 15 minutes looking at it eye level to check for sediment. Use a toothpick to get it out, to check for bubbles, and retorch if I need to. And like I said, it's in your best interest to cover it with a dust cover. Now, all resins are different. It's in your best interest to read the directions for the resin that you are using. Hey everyone. I thought this was so cute. Look at it up close with all the little candy. I'm almost wondering, should I have left that sucker on there? What do you guys think? But anyway, I just thought that was adorable. And if you don't have a Cricut, you can stencil words on it. And also a lot of the stores like the Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, if you go up and down their Christmas aisles or their holiday aisles, they have words on metal. The Dollar Tree a lot of times will have stuff written on metal. You can spray paint it on stickers and also on just regular wood. They have it on to put words on projects, especially around the holidays. But and if your handwriting is good, you could also write it. You could put the words behind it, print it out in like Microsoft Word and whatever font you want, put the words behind it, and then trace over it with your black, I use the black Sharpie markers is what I used for stenciling. And if you're doing it on a canvas, you can use again, print out the words on a regular piece of paper in whatever font you want, however big you want it, and then put tracing paper behind it and then just trace around the edge of the letters, then take it off and fill it in with your black oil-based Sharpie marker. And it will, honestly, it will look just as pretty. So anyway, I think it turned out cute. So the resin I used in this is the Resiners resin. And it is really a nice resin. It is the thinnest resin that I have ever used, but it was really easy to work with. It mixed easily, and that little mixing machine was so cool. And I wouldn't tell you about it. Somebody else sent me a mixing machine. I'm not going to say who, and it was terrible because it went so fast. It created so many bubbles. This one, you can actually put whatever speed you want, and the slowest speed really is a very nice speed for mixing resin, and there was very few bubbles in it. It really ended up nice. I don't know, pull it in, you can see how crystal clear that is. I really like that resin. So anyway, check it out, and I think it's only like 50 bucks for a gallon, so half the price of a lot of resins. Now this is not a doming resin. It is a casting resin, so it's best for molds or something where it's held in a reservoir like this, where you can put it on thick enough that it can't create the fish eyes. And the fish eyes are the little areas that aren't covered. So if most of you probably know what they are by now. But anyway, some people in our Facebook group actually use it as a doming resin. And I did try it on a canvas. Actually, let me show you. I did use it on this canvas just as a test. And the coverage was pretty good. It was a little thin around the edges, I thought. Wasn't as good as some of the other coating or doming resins. But it really wasn't bad for 50 bucks. You might maybe let it thicken up a little bit because it is a very thin resin. So this was the coverage on a canvas. I just did an experiment for you. But anyway, a great casting resin. Worked really well with this. I love the mixer. They're not paying me to say that, and I would not tell you that unless I believed it myself. So anyway, I thought the project was really cute. Halloween's almost here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoyed the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell. You'll be notified every time a new video comes out. Facebook page going. Everybody's displaying all sorts of holiday art. A lot of fun over there. Come join us there. And I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for watching.